Welcome to the Purpose Driven Mom Show, episode 502. And we are in March, which means we are in the month of On Purpose You. On Purpose You is my brand new program I am unveiling out to the world, and it is specifically meant to help moms create their own pathway and road map for themselves when it comes to their life, their goals, and learning about themselves. The heart of this program for me came when I really realized I was like hitting midlife and I wasn't sure what I wanted anymore. And it came from this place of wanting to understand myself better, understand my schedule, and ask myself, how do I want to live this next half of my life? On Purpose You is meant to help give you clarity about what you want, create aligned schedules, and get momentum that actually has you achieving the things that matter to you. Each week on the podcast in the month of March, I'm going to be sharing a different video from a different school. Now, On Purpose You is set up like a university, which is just a fun little play for me as a former educator, right? And it is here to help you identify what kind of things do you need to work on next. Now, last week I shared a video from our core curriculum. This is a video from our School of Clarity. The goal of the School of Clarity is to help you figure out what it is you want, identify the season of life that you're in. Inside the School of Clarity, I also talk about like lifestyle shifts. I'm having a new baby. I have a new career. I got divorced. I'm in my midlife. What do I do and how do I adjust? And also, when we hit this midlife of what do I want? What do I even want to do? Right? We don't know these things all the time because we don't give ourselves the space to do it. The other thing that's cool about the School of Clarity that I love is it helps bust down that myth of I'm just overwhelmed. Because a lot of times I'm just overwhelmed isn't the problem. What I have found over working with thousands of moms now is that it's not overwhelm, it's uncertainty. And when you're overwhelmed with what you have to get done, it's actually could be because you're uncertain about the next step. And the overwhelm is coming from a place of unsureness within ourselves, which is why the School of Clarity is here to help you figure out how to become less uncertain and how to move forward, how to match your capacity with what's going on right now. We talk a lot about capacity. It's like my buzzword of the program, okay? And listen, if you want to learn about On Purpose You, go to apurposedrivenmom.com/onpurposeyou. We are launching on the 18th, I believe, or the 19th of March to the public for the first time, but you can join at any other time. We have some fun bonuses and it'll be the cheapest if you join us then. But depending on when you're listening to this episode, if you want to just check out the program itself, apurposedrivenmom.com/onpurposeyou. You might hit the wait list if you're going now, but if you're going in the future, go check out this program. We want you to be a part of this membership. We made it affordable so that you can really get in because I'm on this mission to help as many moms as possible transform their lives in this season. And it's really heavy for me in my 40s because I realize I don't want to float through the rest of my life. And I don't want that for you either. So if you want to check out show notes, it's apurposedrivenmom.com/podcast502. And this is a video inside the School of Clarity. And this video is on identifying your actual roadblock, not I'm just overwhelmed, right? It's going to really jump into that. And it gives you a good sneak peek about the things I talk about in the School of Clarity. So enjoy. Part of the School of Clarity is helping you figure out what are the real roadblocks and things that are getting in your way. And this lesson is going to help you try to figure it out because it is very deep. There are so many things that could potentially be that roadblock for you, and that's what we're going to talk about. So what is it? What's getting in the way of you achieving your goals? What's getting in the way of you getting the things you want in life? What's getting in the way of you loving yourself more or having the success that you dream of and the success that you deserve? Right? Loaded question. So let's dive in. I think we often assume if we're not getting what we want, fill in the blank here, right? Whatever it is you want, that it's you. Well, I'm inconsistent. I lack discipline. I don't follow through. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. I'm the problem. But oftentimes, that's not the case. The case is there's something about your goal, there's something about your plan, there's something about what you're working on. And when we misname the problem, we choose the wrong solution. Because I think what you've probably been doing most of your life is trying to fix yourself, trying to figure out what's wrong with me so that I can be better, when in reality, that is not what you need right now. And that is not what's going to help you move forward with it. We think it's a us problem, right? I'm not motivated. I don't have enough willpower. Oh, I'm just so lazy. I don't want my goal bad enough. But here's the thing I want to tell you. These things happening, lack of willpower, having lazy moments, right? the lack of desire around your goals. These are symptoms. They are not causes. They're not the reason you're not getting your goal achieved. There are things that happen because of another actual problem. There are 5 real roadblocks, and we're going to go into some detail on a couple of them, right? Lack of clarity, overcapacity, too many priorities, no systems, and that emotional resistance, which we'll go over these 4 in detail. And emotional resistance is kind of, it's always in each of them, right? But I want to be clear about something before we go into detail. The roadblock is not your personality. And I think we want to think this, right? Roadblocks are situational. Personality labels keep you stuck. I'm not feeling motivated right now does not mean that you're a lazy person. It means you're having a moment where you do not feel motivated. There's nothing wrong with that. But we often like to think that that's just who I am and I'm stuck in that thing. And it's not true. You are not inconsistent. Your life is. And up until this point, you've perhaps not made a plan that aligns better with your life. Now, I say that with that caveat of like, I want you to reach your full potential. I want you to feel great about things. I want you to achieve your goals. But how long have you been blaming yourself for everything? And how's it going so far? Has it worked? I bet it hasn't. Because blaming yourself for everything is not going to move yourself ahead. But identifying the actual problems and getting clarity on those will help you. So I want you to think, when you try to move forward, what is usually happening? Do you freeze? Do you overthink? Do you get overwhelmed? Start, stop over and over again, or just avoid it? Because each of these is going to point to a different roadblock. And when you mislabel your roadblocks, right, you're doing the wrong thing. So maybe you think motivation is the actual roadblock, so you push harder. But if you're having a capacity roadblock, which we'll talk about in a second, then pushing harder is going to create burnout. If you're having a clarity roadblock, then pushing harder is going to create confusion. So we need to be able to clearly ask, what is the roadblock? So let's go into detail about a few of these. First things first, we've got our clarity roadblocks. This is how you know you're in a clarity roadblock, right? You are constantly second guessing. And we have a video coming up on second guessing, that you find yourself second guessing everything. You change your goals every few weeks. Well, I wanted to do this and then I wanted to do that, but maybe this one fits better. You're spending all the time, we call it procrastinating, right? Or researching instead of deciding. You feel pulled in a million directions because everything feels, super important. But you find yourself with that emotional, I just don't even know what I want anymore. When in reality, you have a list of goals. You know what you want. You don't feel clear about what you want. Often our clarity roadblocks are telling us something. They could be telling us that we've outgrown this old identity we've created. They could be telling us that we are disconnected from our own wants and needs. Maybe we're carrying too many of those shoulds that we talked about. Some hidden signs that you're in a clarity roadblock situation is you are busy as ever, but you are directionless. You are just doing, but you're unsure of what to do next or where to go. And everything feels equally important. So you're very scattered because you must do all of it. You're often comparing your path to either someone else or old you, and you're stuck in that clarity piece. So how do we help it and how do we not help it? What isn't going to help is forcing a decision. Making yourself decide just so you can move forward will not give you more clarity. And copying someone else's path is just going to lead you to being more confused. But at the same time, waiting for perfect clarity will never move you forward. So instead, my recommendations, I want you to narrow in your focus. I want you to go deeper into that one thing, like a pin drop, like microscope on it, and narrow the focus on the decision you're trying to make or what you need to do. I want you to name some seasonal priorities to help you feel focused, separating out those wants from the previous lesson we did, like, hey, what is it that I want right now? And do some identity reflection work. So great place to go in the School of Clarity, right? There's so many videos that you could go watch to help you figure it out. We're gonna have a minor coming up on identity, so you can go dig deep into that if that's what you need. There's gonna be a lot more videos based on each of these. So if you need one of those, dive deeper into it. Now, the other roadblock I want to talk to you about is called the alignment roadblock. So this sounds like, I know what I want, but I cannot make it fit in my schedule. Like, I know what it is, I just don't know how to make it fit. This is where your plans always look good on paper, but they fall apart as soon as you start to do them. And then you feel guilty because you're behind, you can't keep up, and you're always playing catch up. What's really happening though? It's a misalignment, right? Misalignment between the goals I want and the capacity I have. Misalignment between the systems I've created versus my actual life. Misalignment between the expectations that I have versus the season that I'm in. Misalignment between the identity of who I am and the behavior of what I'm doing. You will start to notice you're having alignment roadblocks if you can only do things in short bursts. You find yourself restarting over and over, and you like to plan, but the execution feels like a mismatch. So what doesn't work here? More discipline. Like, I just got to do more. That's not going to work. Making a tighter schedule will not help you feel more aligned. Or over tracking. You do not need to keep tracking over and over and over again if you know what the problem is, right? But what will help you is doing seasonal fit planning, right? Like, what's my season and where am I going? Giving yourself some flexible structure. I talk a lot about this with my time blocking method, where it's structure and flexibility, and giving yourself less priorities, taking some stuff off your plate, but going deeper in on them. Our next roadblock we're going to talk about, these are momentum roadblocks. This is, again, you know what you want to do, but you just don't get it done. You just don't want to. You are waiting for motivation to kick you in the butt and get you going. You overplan and overplan and overplan instead of starting. Or you start strong and then it fades out, okay? So what's happening here? Your tasks are way too big. You got too many things. You don't have them broken down. You're starting friction. The obstacles are too high. I want to go work out, but this is in the way, and this is in the way, and this is in the way. You rely mostly on motivation instead of the activation strategies. You wait for the perfect time blocks to magically make your schedule work, and you avoid finishing tasks. What's not going to work for you here is more inspiration. Like, just getting more inspired is not going to help. Making bigger plans for yourself is not going to move you into action, and spending more time on goal setting will not make you implement. But what does? Micro actions. Breaking them down into our 15-minute formula. Visible wins, rewarding yourself, okay? Celebrating the progress. Giving yourself a lower starting threshold. Instead of I'm going to work out for 20 minutes, I'm going to work out for 5, right? Something quick and short work bursts instead of trying to do your whole time block. Now, before I go to the capacity roadblocks, the 3 main ones we talked about: clarity, alignment, momentum, align with our schools here in On Purpose You. So if you notice that you're hitting one of these roadblocks, a good next step might be to head into that specific school and watch some videos in that school. And what's going to happen is, maybe with one goal, you hit capacity roadblocks, and with another goal, you hit alignment roadblocks, and one goal, you hit momentum. So you might have to watch a video in that school based on the lens of that specific goal, which is the point of the program. But I wanted to add in this other one, and I talked the 5th type of roadblock is that emotional stuff that's layered in all this. But our next one I just wanted to cover is capacity, because we don't have a school of capacity, but it is very important to talk about, and these are capacity roadblocks. This is the exhaustion. This is, I have this high mental load, I have too much going on, I don't know where to go next, so I'm stuck into decision fatigue. You leave yourself no margin in your brain or in your schedule. Small tasks feel huge. Just go fold a load of laundry, right? And it feels massive. You avoid starting because it's just so heavy, and you forget things constantly because you have too much going on. When you're trying to conquer your capacity roadblocks, adding in more systems to try to make the perfect system isn't going to work. Putting more goals or more pressure on your plate will also not help. What actually helps when you have a capacity roadblock is to remove your commitment. Saying, I'm not at capacity, that's my phrase, I want you to repeat it. I am not at capacity to do this, is removing commitment off your plate. I shared this example in another video, but today, actually, I was invited to a baby shower of someone like I know adjacent. And I'm not going. It starts in 10 minutes, and I made the decision not to go because I am not at capacity. I needed to prioritize getting these videos done. I did not have the space. I felt super guilty about it, but then I said to myself, I'm not at capacity, and I don't owe anyone any sort of qualifiers for what I have on my schedule to say I'm not at capacity. You're permitted to take things off your plate, right? What also helps is automating some of your decisions so you don't have to think about everything fresh each time. Doing something like a monthly meal plan at the start of the month so you don't have to think about dinner every night.
lower your expectations. We call these the when the poop hits the fan blocks. Like putting less on your plate for each day and saying, hey, listen, if I only get the dishes done today, it's a win, helps your capacity because you're moving forward but still having wins, and just allowing yourself to go into maintenance mode. Sometimes we're in a season where you're in maintenance mode. You can't add any more goals on your plate because you're at capacity, and there's nothing wrong with that. So what I want you to do to think about this, the actual problem, I gave you a lot to think about, and there's a quiz inside the workbook today, but I want you to change the thought from how do I push harder to what type of support do I need next, and for this specific goal. Now I've got a roadblock quiz for you inside your syllabus in the workbook for this course. And I want you to take some time and really think, what do I need? Now, it might point you to heading to a different school, which you're more than welcome to do, or you can stay and finish this school up first. It might point you to some videos. But again, each goal is gonna feel different. Come back to this quiz anytime you find yourself saying, I'm struggling with my goal because like this one isn't working, and it can help you figure out what you need so that you can troubleshoot your specific goal and give you more clarity. All right, I'll see you in the next lesson.